Alright, so last week we covered an array of camps as I see them in the gaming community. If you haven't seen it yet, give it a watch to get an idea where I'm coming from in this video, and the many yet to come throughout the year. And at the request of Anya Jade, I'm featuring a picture-in-a-picture element to this video to gather feedback on presentation to see if you prefer my gaming videos purely narrated, with a picture-in-picture webcam stream like Twitch, or if the community would prefer a full-screen webcam with a picture-in-picture or periodic cuts like the old videos of the gaming content. So feel free to let me know in the comments below, or you can reach out to me on Twitter. With that, let's get into it. So let's talk about Destiny. It's no secret that Destiny 2 has had a bit of a rocky year 3. Some argue that its most recent season of the Worthy may have been the worst since vanilla Destiny 2 launch, which, since I wasn't an active PvPer back then, it didn't really affect me all that much. But in hindsight, Season of the Worthy was developed and executed mostly during the height of the COVID-19 quarantine that left most game developers isolated from one another and having to wing it through Zoom meetings and remote uploads. We know that's pretty risky in this age of hackers and miscreants. So given while the prior two seasons weren't the best Bungie has ever put out, but certainly not the worst, it grew increasingly clear that there was a lot of back-end work being developed towards something bigger this year. And so because of that, Season of the Undying and Season of the Dawn content was largely forgivable. Then the miraculous happened. So this past Tuesday, at noon Eastern Standard Time, Bungie unleashed the motherlode on the Destiny community. A massive livestream reveal teased the future of Destiny. Not just this next expansion, Beyond Light, coming out this fall, but the next two, 2021 and 2022, respectively, as well. Not only that, they actually kept the best work they performed while in isolation a near-perfect secret until the very end of the livestream. Very few outside of Bungie's employee were even fully aware of what Season of the Redacted would entail. And even then, a vigilant community stood at the watch and damned the spoilers from spilling onto the internet at large. Only a mere couple videos and one single Reddit post with, by the way, they were both very quickly squelched, seeped through. Then, with just a few minutes to spare before the reset into Season of the Redacted, they lifted the veil. The season of the arrivals was upon us. From the Dark Solitude of Rasputin's Seraph bunkers, we watched the approach of the creeping Darkness fleet with each weekly reset of last season. I even teased that our time was up with that whole Independence Day thing in last week's video, and sure enough it is. The Darkness is here. The Light's eternal foe arrived on Io, which is the last place the Traveler, you know, the big ball with light power, touched with its light. And it's begun altering the landscape the same way the Traveler did when it once went world to world, converting harsh, inhospitable landscapes into garden worlds rife with resources and flush with bounty. So our enemies are frenzying, and they succumb to their dark desires anywhere the Darkness Scout ships touch down, and they're lured into the Veil and converted into these fierce champions brimming with powers of the dark, just like those champions were that were influenced, subdued, seduced, if you will, by the dormant pyramid ship that was under the moon with the Shadowkeep expansion that launched last fall. Now we're seeing the effects of an actual live pyramid ship hungry for our light. But that's not all. As we intercept motes of dark to store into the Drifter's contraption with which we're already very familiar if we're Gambit players, Savathun, the Hive Witch Queen, unleashes her Taken to gorge themselves on our bounty. They swarm with conviction, and their savagery has again achieved an apex not seen since before we felled the Taken King Oryx, by the way, back in Destiny 1. And that's Savathun's brother. So she's pissed. The threats face us from all sides, and while our tools are limited, our courage is not. We are guardians of the last city of humanity, after all. So with all this, I had an epiphany. Bungie managed to create buzz without a single advanced tease of this season, despite the disappointments of the prior seasons. They created a season with a fun, challenging, and highly engaging public event on a world in critical danger of being swallowed up by the darkness. They basically created an arms race between multiple forces to harvest the darkness to bolster their own arsenals to protect themselves from annihilation. Everyone's got a stake in this. Think about it. We're faced with this civilization-ending fleet of darkness. This is like the apocalypse equivalent in this game universe. We Guardians are now seeing our eternal enemy fully awakened for the first time right on our doorstep. The Cabal, more specifically the previously undefeated Red Legion, who are terrible losers by the way, are so threatened by total defeat now that both their leader and their system-ending superweapon are destroyed by humanity, they'll seize any opportunity to restore their strength. The Vex's undying mind has been eradicated, so their ability to manipulate time on Mercury has been thwarted, and the darkness they worship has arrived for their own gains. So insofar as their clusters in our solar system are concerned, they share a desperation in common with the Cabal. And this is just on Io. The darkness approaches Titan, Mars, and even Mercury. All within their view are in extreme peril. Even the Fallen face a similar doom, with more of their kind forming alliances with humanity, while those resigned to pillaging and plundering are pushed deeper into isolation. Bungie has managed to create an in-game social state so dire and so relevant to the new seasonal activity, while being flush with lore dialogue and story content, by the way, that what you're doing actually feels like it matters. Every force that engages the darkness is doing so with the purpose of self-preservation, amplified with desperation. And given the direction in which they've shown Destiny to be headed, Bungie clearly needed a win with this season prior to the release of a new expansion, and they've knocked this one out of the park. So for the first time since Gambit was introduced to the game, I've fallen in love with Destiny all over again. And it genuinely feels like I'm an integral element to its universe. Granted, Dredge and Outlaw is a bit of a roguelite bear dabbling in the powers of the dark, and it's likely that he will dive too deep and too greedily come this fall, but that's a story you all have to wait and see unfold. That's right. Just like I once did with Star Wars Galaxies and Star Trek Online, I'll be writing some pretty extensive roleplay literature surrounding my Destiny version of Sigarden Khan, known in this universe by the title Dredge and Outlaw. So stay tuned, because this one is going to be a good one. So thanks for watching, y'all. I really, really appreciate y'all digging into my content. This is great. So please let me know what y'all think of this new format with the picture-in-picture stuff, how you guys want it adjusted. You know, just let me know. I'm not offended by feedback, so just let me know. Tune in next week as I draw a contrast between the recently revealed PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox One X coming out this holiday. And tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard on Twitch, so twitch.tv/Outlaw Lotus, I'll be streaming Destiny 2, and I'm holding off on my last character to jump into the intro of this season so y'all can see it for yourselves. So tune in if you haven't seen it and you haven't reinstalled Destiny recently. You all want to check this out, trust me. And remember, please, let's get on a little bit of a brief real-life moment here. Don't forget to wear your masks while you're out in public, please. I don't know if I have COVID. You don't know if you have COVID, because some of us could be asymptomatic. That's already been proven. So please, just out of respect for others, especially our elderly and people with compromised immune systems, wear something on your face when you go into public. Just please. And while we're talking about caring about others, just remember that we haven't forgotten yet. Black Lives Matter, all right? No justice, no peace. We have to make sure we're supporting our black communities, all right? I don't care what the color of your skin is. Black Lives Matter right now. It's very, very important that we remember this, because we cannot let hate and intolerance win in this world, all right? We're in this together. Who knows? We might be facing our own darkness someday, and if we're still fighting amongst ourselves, we aren't going to be strong enough to face whatever threatens us as a single human race. We're in this together, all right? Gotta love each other. I love you all for coming to watch my videos. I appreciate it. This has been Outlaw Lotus. Keep quick drawing and slack jawing. Catch y'all next time.